goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Coddington, joined by my fellow co-hosts and filmmakers, John and Elaine Woolscroft.
Howdy, y'all.
My jingle bells are rocking. I'm talking about my balls.
I didn't realize that they jingled. You should really have that look.
So last week you were talking about your Yule log and how it might be infected, and now you're talking about your jingle balls?
Well, jingle bells.
Jingle
Let's
bells.
not be offensive, Brian. This is a family show.
A family show, sure.
Oh, sure.
We're going to talk about Santa Claus murdering people, so bring the kids around.
So we're on episode 34, which it's pretty cool. If you ask me.
Great.
34.
It's one less than 35, one more than 33.
That's right. And we're kind of continuing
You math
our talk of Xmas-themed movies, but this time we're taking a much darker turn.
As we are prone to do.
Yeah, you know how we did our October, our Halloween movies that you should watch that are horror-based, and then our Thanksgiving-based horror movies, which that's one of my absolute favorite episodes, by the way. Check that one out. And, kind of keeping in theme with the holiday stuff, we're going to be talking about some holiday Christmas horror movies.
I am so giddy.
It's good times.
Yep.
Good times. So we pre-chose 3
Yeah.
for you guys that we find, to be classics.
Classics.
If you will. So that's where we started.
Yeah.
And we have a news bit today.
Yep, a little bit of a news bit. And
God
this
help
one,
us.
oh my God.
This is a bad one, guys.
This, I think, might be on the same level as the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Brace yourselves.
So apparently there's going to be a Pokemon live-action film.
Yes!
So that's the first part. There's a Pokemon live-action movie in the works, and I guess this is kind of because of the whole Pokemon Go success. People started flipping their shit over, catching
Right.
Pokemon in real life. So Legendary Entertainment is putting this together.
Has that fad died out, or still people still catching the Pokemon?
I think they stopped.
I feel like it definitely
It
slowed.
kind of was like,
Definitely.
Old ladies were getting sick of, young whippersnappers coming in their house I gotta catch a Pokemon, lady.
They're definitely in their refractory period right now. So Legendary Entertainment's developing this film, and they've tapped, the big news is that they've tapped Rob Letterman to direct it. And you might not know who the fuck that is, because I didn't know who the fuck that was, until I realized that Rob Letterman is the guy who directed the Goosebumps live-action film.
Which was actually pretty
Which wasn't
cute.
too bad.
It was pretty cute.
It isn't too bad.
They were ironic about it, which is what helped it.
Yeah,
Helped it work.
Yeah,
definitely.
And Letterman's had a couple. He spent most of his stuff doing family friendly movies, so it kind of fits. He did Shark Tale, Monsters vs. Aliens, and Gulliver's Travels. And he kind of blew up mostly with Goosebumps, that being as successful as it was. So they've got him directing it. They've got Guardians of the Galaxy's Nicole Perlman writing along with Alex Hirsch. And I guess Toho's handling movie distribution in Japan, while Universal's going to be handling distribution everywhere else. And the big deal with this is that, one, you've got a live-action Pokemon movie happen already. But here's the deal. They're not following the anime series for inspiration.
I mean, why would you make it the thing everybody loves?
Of course.
That would be terrible.
Why would you do that?
It worked so well for Mario Brothers.
Yeah, it really did. And like Dragon Ball, it worked great for that, not following the anime.
Or The Last Airbender.
Or Last Airbender. Yeah, So I guess what they're doing is they're basing this movie on a unreleased video game, I guess it's coming out soon, called Great Detective Pikachu. And it follows, and this is from Cinema Blend here, I'm reading directly from it, follows a wisecracking, super intelligent, talking Pikachu who wears a deerstalker hat and solves Pokemon-related mysteries, Sherlock Holmes style.
And this is live action, right?
Well, this is what they're following, yeah.
Okay.
So this is the video game that I'm referencing, but they're saying that it's going to follow that sort of plot. This electrically charged critter is accompanied by a boy named Tim Goodman and together they go on wacky adventures. Presumably, this movie will follow the same structure, though no official plot details have been disclosed. So, right there, this movie's gonna fucking fail.
Are they gonna do puppets? Please tell me they're gonna do puppets. If this is live action.
No, this is gonna be that CGI shit.
Oh, kind of like how they did like Scooby-Doo?
Or Garfield, yeah.
Yeah. Which, oh, God.
Scooby-Doo, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. Just trying to remember just how hideous Scooby-Doo looked. He looked like something from another dimension. Just
that was, 2000s CGI for you right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what is happening. Ugh. Ugh. It's like, okay, here's my problem. If you're trying to appeal to fans of Pokemon, just like if you're trying to appeal to fans of The Last Airbender, or in my case, Dragon Ball Z, why the fuck would you not look at the original manga anime for inspiration? It makes zero sense to me.
Especially when it's so beloved.
Yeah. It's like, the only way you could fuck it up is if you didn't do that. And it just seems to me like every single time that they transfer something over to a movie from, a cartoon or a video game, especially with I found with anime and manga, they completely fuck it up. I mean, I know Ghost in the Shell is the only one that's kind of, at least from the trailers, it looks like it's following pretty much the same plot, except for the fact that the lead character is American.
That's true.
Aside from that.
But has giant-ass titties.
Yeah.
Rude.
That's important. That's part of the
Is
thing.
Is that part of the thing?
I've never seen it.
You're just going off of the pictures that you find on Google Images. You're like, oh, well, every picture of Ghost in the Shell has giant ass titties.
So they nailed the casting there.
Nailed the casting there. But yeah, I'm sick and tired of these guys just not following the source material.
I always say certain movies like that. I'm like, oh man, we should get drunk and see that. I think I might need some NyQuil and Sudafed. I might need to be just high with going into that one, just messed out of my skull in order to be able to sit through. And God, I hope it's puppets. I hope it's somebody in a big
hope it's puppets?
outfit. Yeah. Oh yeah. If they're gonna go for it, I hope they just fucking go for it.
I think that's the movie you should make, is a Pokemon movie in which it's just a foul mouth Pikachu. That goes Pika Pika motherfucker. And farts lightning.
Doesn't he already fart lightning? I don't know much about.
No, he kind of just shoots lightning everywhere. It's
so
Pika.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I used to watch it back in high school.
Yeah.
It would be on around 6:00 in the morning, right before the bus would come.
There you go.
So there's nothing else to watch at 6:00 in the morning. So it's like, all right, I guess I'm fucking
Goof
watch.
Troop. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Goof Troop wasn't on.
For me.
Okay, well maybe it was on for you, but it wasn't on for me.
C-SPAN was pretty good around that time.
Oh, you're so full of shit.
Yeah, that's if you want to go ahead and miss your bus because you fall the fuck asleep watching it.
So true. So true. So yeah, so look out for that one,
Look
kids.
out for that one, kids. Because it's going to be, you might want to go schedule your root canal while watching that film, because it's going to be bad.
So we have 3 awesome films.
Yeah.
Where do we want to start, guys?
Well, I'm kind of curious about something. John, what the fuck? No,
I'm sorry, Lane. Just
no
kinda took
witty?
it there.
Oh, I took it.
You took it.
I'm sorry.
No
I took
witty
it.
transition?
I didn't know
Sorry.
we were transitioning there. You just kind of took the ball on the horn. It's all right. That's all right. I'll let it slide this time.
Oh,
I'll let it
shit.
slide this
Thank you,
time.
magnanimous one.
Wow. So yeah, we got we got three classic Christmas themed horror movies. Now this isn't all of them. But
No, there are many.
There are many.
And I've seen nearly all of them, so please, feel free to tweet at me. I will let you know how I feel.
Because
we're
probably gonna get
some.
some asshole on Twitter who goes ahead and says, "You didn't mention this movie. You didn't mention Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 with the garbage day."
Well, I would welcome these suggestions with an open heart and be like, "I'm sorry we missed your favorite. Would you like us to do an episode on your show?"
There you go.
That is the Christmas spirit, motherfuckers.
Why did you assume they all have shows?
Well, I mean, they could come on we would do it on our show for them.
We'll go ahead and we'll do a review of that one on our show. Is what?
Yeah, that's what I meant. But it'd be like a show dedicated to them.
Yeah.
Or we'll come and punch you in the wiener if you're too mean.
There'll be no wiener punching. It's Christmas.
It's Christmas. Save that for New Year's when you're drunk and you're just like, I'm gonna fucking punch you in the wiener, bitch.
Fun fact: I got so drunk one New Year's that I actually did punch John in the wiener.
No, you didn't.
He punched me in the box. It was fair.
That is kind of fair.
It was a
Like-
light punch. It was.
Did you guys punch each other in the wiener and box at the same time?
Kind
No.
of.
Was it like a miss and boom?
Like, he got me, and then I was allowed to get him back, and
Yeah.
then we both fell on the floor because
Oh,
we were
God.
drunk and in pain and laughing.
And the people came out of like the kitchen while they were doing the dishes because it was like past midnight. And they just went, drunk people. And
They
went
were
back.
Either that or I was just thinking like, oh, spousal abuse.
They were like,
Yeah.
meh.
It was kind of.
We both were laughing. We were fine. It was okay.
Oh, jeez.
So there's a little fun fact for you listeners.
Fun fact.
But yes, this is probably my favorite genre of Christmas movies, Christmas themed horror movies,
Yeah.
Santa slasher movies. I watch 3 a year.
3 a year.
Yep, and one of them is the same every year. My favorite of all of them, Christmas Evil.
Christmas Evil.
Yes, which is amazing. I highly, highly suggest checking out the glory that is.
I haven't
Christmas
checked that
Evil.
one out.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
I couldn't stay awake during it. He always has to watch them so late at night. It's really bad.
But then I always switch up the other two. So as a little bit of kind of a prelude to this year, I will be watching Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, The Toy Maker.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
They made up to 5.
Starring Mickey Rooney.
We're skipping 4 because apparently 4 is unforgivable.
Well, it's not
is
even
it-
really about Christmas. It's about witches. It's
Oh, it does a troll too. You know, it's about trolls instead of,
It's
I mean, goblins instead of trolls.
And somebody fill in for me here. I'm looking up. I
Okay.
forgot the name of the last one here. So somebody just fill in my dead air here.
So, yeah, but anyway, the movies we're going to be talking about today are not, unfortunately, Christmas Evil. I don't know why it isn't on there, but
Well, we had to pick. You
yeah,
know,
we had to
and-
pick a
and-
couple.
And truly, I'm glad we picked where we went.
Yeah.
We
chose-
have Black Christmas
Yep,
on
Black
the list.
Christmas.
I'm-
The original, not the remake.
No,
Not the God-awful remake.
Well, we'll talk about the God-awful remake briefly.
Yeah.
14% on Rotten Tomatoes, kids.
Holy shit.
14%. But that's my favorite
Yeah.
of this genre. Black Christmas, the original, is my favorite. We're also going to break down Elves, which y'all might not have heard of.
That
but
movie
we
is
made Brian
fucked up.
watch.
Oh, I got
The
it.
movie is fucked up.
Home for the Holiday, starring Sally Field.
Right, and that's what John's watching.
Yeah.
On his own. Not sure I'm going to watch with him. But we'll also be talking about Elves, and then we'll be talking about Silent Night, Deadly
Which
Night.
that one's one of my favorites.
So I think we have a good mix. I
Yeah.
think we have a good mix.
So we'll start with the OG of Christmas-themed horror movies. We'll start with Black Christmas.
Yeah.
And kind of launch the whole holiday-themed slasher movies, horror movies.
yeah.
It came out before Halloween.
Yeah, it predates Halloween. I mean, this is
74.
1974, so it's a ways back, and a lot of people do credit it as being one of the first
It is,
slasher
well,
films.
a lot of people say it influenced Halloween.
Yeah, absolutely, because it does take a really awesome tack to everything. It also did pioneer the whole like not knowing who the killer is thing, because there are exclusively POV shots.
Yeah.
Of the killer, and we don't even end the movie knowing who he is.
Well, the other two
Or
movies,
she, I guess.
Yeah, the other two movies we're going to talk about tonight are god awful. Now, this one actually is not
Yeah,
bad.
no, it's
This
not
is a
bad.
pretty good
The
movie.
remake
Steve
is
Martin's
terrible.
favorite movie.
Is
it Steve Martin's
That's
favorite movie?
amazing. I love it.
Yeah, the remake is unacceptable. But this movie was directed by Bob Clark, I'd say the less festive of his two Christmas
Yeah.
movies.
So Bob Clark also brought us A Christmas Story. He's the
Oh,
director of
seriously?
that. Yeah. And so
That's
and
hilarious.
And it's funny. I always take for granted like I know so much about Bob Clark and A Christmas Story because John and I go to the Christmas Story house every year.
Booyah.
So
Seriously?
and we walk through
in
the
Ohio.
whole museum.
Okay.
It's over in Ohio, and so one of the things that I think is really interesting about Bob Clark is that he did Porky's. That was one of his films. He directed Porky's.
That's great.
And the studio wanted him to do Porky's 2, and he was like,
Electric
fuck no, that's not art. And they were like, we'll give you money and you can do whatever you want after that. And he was like, fuck, all right. And he did Porky's 2 so he could have the money to do A Christmas Story. Because that's what
Oh,
he really wanted to do.
wow.
It's based on a Gene Shepard story that he
Okay.
loved, and that's why he wanted to do it that way. And they did a lot of the shooting in Ohio, actually, to cut costs. And
Yeah,
the
you can
rest
tell
of it in
Porky's too
Canada.
pretty much is kind of phoned in.
Yeah, well, he only
Yeah.
did it because he wanted to be able to do a
That
Christmas
makes
Story.
sense.
So, but like John said, Black Christmas is the lesser of the two festive offerings.
Yeah.
So this is actually cool because this story is influenced by that old urban legend, the babysitter and the
Yep.
man upstairs,
Very much
where
so.
the calls are coming from inside the house.
They're
Get out
coming
now.
from inside the house.
So,
Now there actually is a horror movie based on that, which is terrible.
yeah, it's another slasher.
I can't remember the name of it
Is
at
it called
the
The
moment.
Sitter?
Yes, please. We got a computer right in front of us here. Can you
Yeah.
check that from your? But the problem with the movie is the first part of it is amazing because it's that urban legend, and after she goes to run outside the house, they basically had to write the second part of the movie, which is horrible.
And that's
When
what-
a Stranger Calls.
Stranger
okay,
Calls.
yeah.
and
That's it.
it's just
That's the most famous. It's been adapted a lot.
it's clearly
Yeah.
a different movie slapped onto the first part of the movie. I think it was one of those, like, the guy had made a short film and it was really popular. Like, now make it into a feature, and he's like, oh fuck, what do I do here?
It's true.
This is why you write
your
your feature first and then pare it down into a short, so that when you go to make your short and it becomes really popular, be like, oh look, I got the feature.
See, that's a little insider tip for you
Boom,
guys.
right there.
Nailed it.
So Black Christmas. It's I saw the remake and I thought it was terrible. But one of the things I like about it is just that it features a lot of people here that, like, Margot Kidder. I thought was interesting that she was in it. And it was pre-crazy Margot Kidder. But you were saying while we were off,
Nobody
the
really
show that
liked
no one
her on
liked
set.
her?
That she was like a little weird. She was off-putting. So I think she's always been crazy, Margot Kidder.
She's always been crazy.
I don't think that
She
was.
just comes in one flavor.
One
Yeah, and
flavor.
I don't think, like, that scene in Superman that everybody hates where she's kind of narrating in her head while flying with Superman, like, oh, it ruins the scene. I think that was just us hearing her insanity out loud, and they just kept it on film.
True.
She didn't realize she was on a green screen. But no, so basically, as quick as I can here, it's a sorority house, a bunch of disenfranchised 70s ladies hanging out there.
Disenfranchised 70s ladies.
They're not much feeling the holidays. They all got something going on. They all got some baggage, some drama. Somebody breaks into the attic, starts calling them from inside the house.
From inside the house.
Yeah. Now, we see the person go in the attic. We see calls. We don't know that they're necessarily related. I mean, obviously, we can kind of put two and two together. But almost immediately, one of the, ladies of the house are murdered and put up in the attic. She gets a plastic bag over her head, gets put up into the attic, in the window, by our moaner, our person on the phone. And, just shenanigans ensue from there.
Well, the imagery too is very upsetting, because he puts plastic, to suffocate her, and then wrapped, like, to a chair, a rocking chair. So she's just up there, and, like, that, that comes into play.
Yeah, the
later.
kills in this type of movie are very brutal for the time.
And the first girl who was killed, her dad comes to bring her home for the holidays. But now, I don't know if we mentioned this, but we are in a sorority house, and I don't believe that this is something that is still a thing. But there's a house mother.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
Who's a drunk.
And she
likes the hooch.
and they're surprised to see her dad because they thought
her name
Claire
is
just
Mrs.
left the
Mack.
night before. So something that I also think was very groundbreaking for the year in which this was made is we have the character Jess. She's pregnant and she wants to have an abortion.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that was not mentioned in cinema at the time.
No,
And I
not
think
at
that's
all.
very
It was
interesting.
well. Here's the thing too. It's important to note that this film is Canadian.
It is.
It's
And maybe that
it's
does
not
make a
coming
difference.
out of
Maybe it makes a
our
difference. That's
country
very true.
or Hollywood, which they would have been like, we can't talk about that.
You can get an abortion at Tim Hortons in Canada.
Is that what they do? They sell you coffee and donuts, and abortions are off to the side.
Excuse you, it's a bear claw, goddammit.
Oh,
Have some
yeah.
culture.
Hey, friend. Hey, buddy. Can I get a bear claw and can you shoot this out of me? Eh? Just scramble its brains and put a little maple in my coffee, eh? All right, I got a lot of blends to do today, eh?
I have nothing to say. That never happens to me.
Oh, what do you do with the aborted fetuses when you're done, eh? Wow, what do you think we fill the donuts with? You think that's jelly, eh? That's why we're so strong in Canada, all them stem cells.
BRB, I'm gonna go vomit.
Holy shit!
Wow.
So that just happened.
Hey, their milk comes in bags. They're weird up there, okay?
It's not as weird as you think.
Their milk. Wait a minute. Their milk comes in bags.
Yes,
Yeah,
their
it's-
milk's in a bag and they suckle on the end like a teat.
No, you put it in a pitcher that's open, and you cut a hole in the bag, and then you tip it over, and you pour the milk, and it's really not that weird.
Why can't they just get plastic jugs like the rest of us?
Thank you, Brian.
Because they don't want to be bad on the environment. Plastic
You
bags are way
recycle.
less.
They eat
Just recycle
aborted
it.
They
babies.
recycle the bags too.
But why can't they just give plastic
They're
containers?
less bulky. I don't know. I grew up with that, like going to my grandmother's in Canada. I don't think it's that weird. If you saw it in action, you wouldn't think it was that weird.
Do their abortions come in bags too, Elaine?
No, they come in Tim Hortons, according to you.
And the bear claws are...
Yeah, don't get the jelly donuts in Canadian Tim Hortons.
God, I want a bear claw so bad
God.
right now. All right,
So-
so
yeah.
yep,
Abortion's talked about in the film.
We have a a whole sorority house full of gals who are starting to get a little worried because
right.
they see that their friend is gone and they're not sure.
And we kind of hinted at this, but I think it really needs to be pointed out. You never see the killer.
No.
It's all
No.
anytime the killer's there, it's from the
It's a
killer's point of
it's a
view.
point of view shot.
Or they're hidden in the shadows or whatever the situation may be. So, and so that creates kind of a mystery too. This film's kind of, you get a lot of red herrings and, could it be him? Could it be her? Could it be this person? So there's a lot of people for us to kind of wrap our head around. So, and we'll get to this at the end, but it's kind of like, can you solve the mystery before the movie does? But
Right. But you to that point, you know it actually is never a thing.
Right.
Because we end the movie not really knowing everything that we're supposed to know. So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those films that has a lot going for it. I feel like the performances are pretty good, except Margot Kidder's a little bit over the top. But
But it's Margot Kidder, so
I mean, that's what you're gonna
kind of
get.
that's what you get when you hire her.
So
And John Saxon in his only role that he ever does
it's a cop.
as
yeah.
a cop.
yeah,
As like a grizzled cop with like an axe to bear.
he's the only one that has with a demon in his heart and a score to settle.
Yeah, that's why that's why he drinks Pabst in the Nightmare movies.
Damn right he does.
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
Damn
and
right
that's
he
the
does.
beer of a man with like hate in his heart and a score to settle.
It's true.
I
It's
think
haunted past.
I think John Saxon and what's his face who played Carl Winslow.
Oh yeah, his name's just Carl Winslow. As far as I
Yeah,
know,
but that guy, they're like so typecasted as cops. It's not even funny.
Reginald Val Johnson.
Reginald Val Johnson. Carl Winslow. So that's too long of a fucking name, so it's going to be just Carl Winslow.
That's fine.
But, they so typecast as cops. It's not even funny.
It's true, but he's the only one that has a good idea. He's the one that has the house bugged for the phone
Yeah.
calls, and because of that, that's how we know that the that the calls are coming from inside the house.
Inside the house.
One, I will say, the most notable death that I have a huge problem with is the killer sneaks at one point into Barb's room and stabs poor Barb to death with a glass unicorn head. All right, unicorns are meant for good, not evil.
Oh,
Keep
come
that in
on.
mind.
That's your issue with it?
Yes, I love unicorns. Don't murder with them. That's fucking
No,
bullshit.
but that's turn. No, you gotta understand. That's how horror movies work. They take your most innocent thing. That's when they're at their best. Is when they take the most innocent thing and they corrupt it.
I know. I just fucking like unicorns, and that's bullshit.
Yeah, no, well, you unicorn.
So, like, if they went ahead and they took the glass unicorn and stabbed her, like, in the vagina
with the horn,
with the horn,
yeah, a little unicorn.
that would be
sodomy.
more of a modern.
Well, not the vagina.
You guys are gross. I like unicorns.
Hey,
Why do I do this podcast?
if you're one on one
fun.
with a unicorn, it will fuck you to death. They are bloodthirsty creatures.
Bloodthirsty
They are not.
creatures?
Yeah,
That's
just
not true.
godless killing machines.
That's not true.
Godless
That's not
killing
true.
machines.
That's not true.
They're just horses with dicks on their head.
You're just a horse with a dick on your head.
Heyo!
So if they got dicks on their head, does that mean that they have to bend down and to
Like-
bang? Like, what
don't know.
do they bang like female unicorns
maybe they
or
corkscrew
what?
like dogs do, like how they lock together. So that
Cats do the same thing.
Yeah, so the female can't get away.
So is there a female unicorn?
Yeah, of course.
But why do they have a dick on their head?
Well, I mean, they all have. Wait, you guys are the ones that invented this ridiculousness.
But I'm just saying. I mean,
Well, they ejaculate semen out of their actual penis, and glitter ejaculates out of their horn.
oh, okay. So it's really just more for show, like peacocks.
And if you
true.
get some of that ejaculate glitter onto your face, you'll get what you want for Christmas.
And live forever, right?
And live forever.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
science.
Fair
Okay.
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Just don't put that horn anywhere near somebody to kill them. Apparently.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so this is but it's kind of cool because it builds to a conclusion where you realize like the killer must be in the house because one of the calls kind of alludes to a conversation
Yep.
that Jess has already had with her boyfriend. I mean, the body count in this is pretty intense. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. For 1974, that's
yeah,
pretty intense
and
to
it's
have this
funny-
kind of body count.
And it's funny because the whole time, like, it's built up that Peter's the killer,
Yeah.
and Jess thinks he's the killer, and she fucking murders her own boyfriend because she thinks he's about to kill her. So, poor Jess, having
Poor
a
Jess.
really bad day.
Must have been on the rag. Ew.
She was pregnant. Those hormones will kill you. So, so then we find out at the very end, you know, when Jess is in the hospital recuperating, you know, everybody's left the scene. And even though we have no idea who they are, we hear a single whisper, you know, Agnes, it's me, Billy, before, you know, Jess's phone rings again. And we really don't know, like, you know, how her fate ends up. So
Dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun.
the killer was never caught. We never knew who the killer was. To be honest with you, I don't think the killer was anyone we were introduced to. I think,
No.
you know, we all just try to piece it together because that's what movies do. It's like, oh, it has to be somebody in the movie, but
And it kinda
I don't think
took-
we ever see the person in the movie.
And it really just, like, kind of put that on its head. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of turned that on its head and kind of, you know, did a cool service
Yeah.
to storytelling in that sense.
Yeah.
You know, something that the remake just totally
The
fucked
remake,
up.
oh my god. I saw the remake with an ex-girlfriend of mine, and waste of fucking time.
Yeah, I mean, they took everything that was good about the first movie and just changed it completely. Now, the remake was released in 2006, and it was actually released on Christmas, and a lot of, like, religious groups were really upset because something so violent was
Well,
gonna be
you know
released on
what?
Christmas.
They've been making these types of movies since the original Black Christmas. So, I mean, and that's kind of a constant thing with these movies is people are looking at Santa and Christmas and say, oh, well, the sanctity.
Yeah, well, they're
of
not
the
upset
holiday.
with all the children being fucked. So in the church, so you know, maybe
Yeah,
they should
no
look.
one cares
look in,
about that
Look
part.
in the mirror, there, guys.
Wow. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
a thing. But yeah, I mean, I think some of the failures was just like they came up with this horribly grandiose backstory for the actual killer, so we knew who the killer was like the whole time, and I don't know, I didn't feel like it worked, you know, and really the actors that they got weren't very good, like the actresses in it. There aren't hardly any real names, you know, as far as that goes. I guess Mary Elizabeth Winstead has done some stuff, like she's been in
Michelle Trachtenberg's in it.
yeah, well,
Oh,
I
yeah,
hadn't
yeah.
gotten to Michelle
Gretchen Wiener's
Trachtenberg
in
yet.
it.
I hadn't gotten to them yet. I was about to say except, but you know, as usual, I'm interrupted. Something that I thought was funny. When I saw the remake, and
Yeah.
obviously it's hot garbage, but the whole time, the one character really bugged me. The boyfriend character, like the new Peter. He was played.
He's not
by-
good as that old Peter.
He was played by Oliver Hudson, who I was watching Nashville at the time.
Okay.
And he's just a character on Nashville, and it just like when it finally clicked. Do you ever have that moment where you're like, "That you're the thing from the thing"?
Yeah.
And like when
Yeah.
I finally figured out who it was, I almost didn't give a fuck about the movie anymore because I'm so excited. I was like, "Oh my god!"
He
That was
does
like- that was
other
the
things
most-
other
That
than
was
Nashville.
that was the most satisfying part.
I saw Law and Order with the judge from Ghostbusters too. Like they call him the
Hammer? Yeah.
And I watched the whole episode just in anger. I couldn't piece it together. And then finally I gave in and I had to Google it, and I was like, that's the fucking judge from Ghostbusters 2.
I know, like Mary Elizabeth Winstead in particular. She did a lot of like really crappy early movies, and I know like she was
How
in.
dare you? She was brilliant in Final Destination.
Yeah, but she was in Death Proof.
Oh,
Did you know
yeah,
that?
That's right.
She was in Death Proof, and you watch that movie. You're just like, who is it? That's that girl with the face, and you're like, oh crap, it's Ramona Flowers.
Yep. mhm,
Okay.
That's her.
But yeah, she did Death Proof, and then also Final Destination.
Yep.
So yeah, but since, I'm glad you mentioned the controversy regarding Christmas horror movies, because the next one really suffered from it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Silent
Night, Deadly Night from 1984.
So 10 years later.
10 years later. Fun fact about this one. This movie came out the exact same day as Nightmare on Elm Street.
Huh.
And it actually was making more money than Nightmare on Elm Street was. And then it was pulled.
Because everybody
Because
got their panties in a
everyone got
twist.
their panties in a twist about Santa killing people. Okay? That's what it was. So what's interesting is the idea of, okay, had this movie not been pulled, would it have eclipsed Nightmare on Elm Street's popularity and could have fundamentally changed the course of horror history?
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
it only grossed
That's
about
interesting.
2.5 mil, as far as money made goes.
And that was before it was pulled.
And it cost about $1 million to make. So it didn't have like a big commercial success, but if it was pulled, then that would be
Well,
fine.
that's what I'm saying, is they pulled it after a week of it being in theaters. Mm-hmm. Okay, because basically, the negative publicity that people like Roger Ebert, fuck you. I'm sorry, I don't give a shit if you're dead. You hated horror movies. I'm sorry, here's the thing. My problem with this guy is that the man fucking hated horror movies with a passion. Okay?
There was a point in his life when he was still alive that he couldn't fight back.
Oh, I wasn't going that fucking far. I'm talking about 1984 Roger Ebert. I'm not talking about...
He gave it two thumbs
that
up,
guy.
his neck hole. Anyways.
Jesus Christ, man.
Can't we have a nice Christmas episode where
No.
you don't say things like neck hole?
No, but what I'm saying is I have a problem with this guy because this guy pretty much poo-pooed every fucking horror movie that came out.
Gene kind of crapped on it, too.
Yeah, he wasn't nearly as bad, though.
Yeah.
He wasn't nearly as bad. He kind of was like, I'm kind of, I like horror, but maybe not like the stuff. Roger Ebert just kind of made it his mission to go after.
Yeah,
what
well,
he
Gene
called,
was sardonic and Roger was aggressive. I
Yeah,
think was
and he was just kind of like, oh, this stuff is garbage and this is crap and blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, listen, I get it. You don't like this stuff, but you don't have to go ahead and call all the people who like it psychopaths because they happen to go ahead and like this sort of thing. So that's why I kind of have a problem with him. I'm sure he's reviewing movies in hell.
Wow. It's rare that Brian is more hateful and dark than you. I'm just glad we were all here to witness it.
Yeah, it happens. It happens from time to time.
It happens.
So, TriStar Pictures put this movie out on November 9th, 1984, and that was pulled a week later.
That's bullshit.
And as I said, it was doing very well.
It was mostly because of the trailers, right? Like Santa has an axe.
Yeah,
and,
he's like fucking killing people, which that's pretty
and
much
all
what
the
happened.
families, and this is Reagan's America, remember? So this is, people up in arms about everything,
Well,
it's-
too, I mean, if you think about it, the orphanage is run by Mother Superior. I mean, we're dealing with nuns. You know what I mean? That, like, nuns made
He's
them-
not killing nuns.
But
Well,
they made him crazy.
Well.
Like, they think that you know what I mean? Like, the implication is that this very, disciplinarian environment was one, that was rooted in religion, but also, like, made him crazy.
Oh, and just a quick note, and I know Brian, said it very quickly at the beginning, but for all of you that are waiting for Garbage Day, that's the second one.
Garbage Day? No! That is the second one.
Garbage Day!
Amazing.
I love
Which
that scene.
is an unbelievable movie. First
really
see this
is.
one so you have the context,
Yes.
but then see the second one and just shake your head the entire time. It's
But
a clip show of the first
It
movie.
really is. So just to kind of give a brief synopsis of this film, okay? The film basically, is centered around Billy Chapman, okay?
They really went out
it's-
there on that name,
they really did. Really thought
Tom
hard about
Smith,
it.
I think, was the original name.
So the beginning, it takes place in 1971, and 5-year-old Billy Chapman is with his family, and they go to visit the nursing home where his, catatonic grandfather tells him about how Santa Claus punishes all naughty kids. And while they're driving back...
No, out of nowhere, you're kind of skipping over the fact that Grandpa's essentially catatonic until everybody else leaves and like, dong! Like he just turns him, hey, let me tell you about Santa. What's going on, Grandpa? I thought you couldn't talk. Shut up. We only have so much time. And he looks...
There is that part, too.
He looks like the kind of guy that, like, for, like, a backwash, a half-empty bottle of Wild Turkey will give you a hand job behind Quiznos. Like, that's what Grandpa looks like. Not that I would know. And by the way, don't bother me between 6 and 7 when I'm behind Quiznos.
I was going to say, should we reach out to Quiznos to be a sponsor now?
I'm getting my submarine toasted.
Yeah. Hey, Quiznos, if you want to send some more meat our way, you just let us know.
Next episode, we'll be talking about doing dirty things behind Arby's, so we get, the Arby's food, too.
Okay, I know it's weird, but their chicken fingers are so good.
They got the meats.
They have the meats, and I'll have the meat sweats.
Yeah, so basically, to get back on point, Billy's family and them, they go, they're leaving the nursing home, and the father pulls over to kind of help a
Man dressed as
a
Santa.
man dressed as Santa. Kids, it's Christmas time.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
Christmas Eve.
It's Christmas Eve, and it was a bad mistake to do that because Santa goes ahead and kills Daddy.
tries to take Mom to Pound Town.
tries to rape Mom.
Whoa. Pound town.
Yeah, that happens, and then kills her, and leaves Billy and his younger brother.
He tries to go to Mom's South Pole.
Whoa.
God.
That's what
and then
you said.
leaves Billy and his younger brother left for dead.
Yeah,
Pretty
well,
much.
he was trying to kill Billy, just couldn't find him.
Yeah, yeah,
Then we cut to him in the orphanage. Mother Superior treats him like shit.
yeah. She's kind of a bitch.
Yeah. And just, he gets more ingrained in the whole idea of things being naughty.
Here's the thing: do they ever talk about his younger brother Ricky?
No, not really.
Because they kind of like he survived, but they never really like said, "Oh, what happened to Ricky?"
Well, he's at the orphanage too.
Yeah, but nothing ever like they never when
he's not
when
the
they
psycho
fast
killer, it's
forward
not his
years
story.
later, they never talk about what happened to Ricky.
It's not his, well,
So-
he's still at the.
Well, he was just a baby, right?
Yeah, well, he ends the movie, doesn't he?
Does
He's
he?
there, yeah.
No.
No,
No.
Oh,
I don't believe so.
I thought he ended up there like in the end. I don't know. My bad.
No, I don't think so. But so anyway, while Billy's in the orphanage, he just starts to develop this psychosis
Yeah.
regarding Christmas and specifically Santa Claus.
Can't say I blame the guy.
No, you know what, Elaine? You're right. Ricky, at the very, very, very end of the movie.
Is it at the very, very end?
Oh, can you say that again?
I was trying to think of something smart
he can't
alecky
do
to
it.
say, and
He
I
can't
couldn't
do it.
And
Just
for
say
once,
it.
my brain was empty.
Just say it again. It sounds so nice.
You're not right.
That's all I wanted from you
Just
for Christmas.
Breathe it in.
Elaine,
There you go.
so right.
So right. I'm
Yeah.
gonna finish.
So while he's in the orphanage, he develops this kind of psychosis regarding Santa, and we flash forward.
Yes.
10 years later, and now adult Billy leaves the orphanage to find a normal life, and he obtains a job, of course, at a local toy store around Christmas time.
Good thinking, Bill.
Good thinking, buddy.
No, thank you, Sister Margaret. It was her
Yeah.
fucking idea.
Yeah, Sister Margaret's the only person who really is not a dick at the orphanage.
They should notice this kid shits his ass every Christmas season. Don't put him near toys and
Shits his ass.
yeah, don't put him near all the Santa related things and toys and all the holiday festivities.
But the thing,
And what is it with this store? What is it with 80s horror movies where everyone's a scumbag?
Yeah, man.
Everyone.
No one. Well, it,
Well,
was the
it makes
80s.
it- it
Everybody
makes
was
it-
so greedy.
I think it just makes it easier for you to be sympathize with the kid. Yeah, fucking kill that piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what I look at it as. Okay, well, if
We
I
feel
care,
less bad.
yeah, and these types of movies, they're kind of in the same grain as Nightmare on Elm Street and those types of things, where you are rooting for the killer. Yeah, kill those fucking teenagers.
Maybe.
Same sort of deal. But anyway, Billy still has a psychosis regarding Santa Claus in particular, and I guess his coworkers kind of coerce him into dressing as Santa Claus on Christmas Eve, and it kind of just sets off his psycho.
Good.
And he starts killing everybody.
You think he would say, my dad was killed, my mom had a little pain from Santa's candy cane. Maybe I shouldn't dress up as a Santa
Little
Claus.
pain from Santa's candy
Oh
cane?
my
Yeah.
good God, John. My good God.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't dress up as Santa. Maybe you should go and say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna take the day off. Okay? Maybe I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that shit. But no, he goes ahead and dresses up, and he starts carrying around a double-bladed axe and just starts killing everyone. He kills his boss, kills the asshole coworker there too, because there's always one.
And then he leaves and decides, I'm going to kill fucking everybody.
Kill fucking everybody. And because he's judging everyone as naughty.
Naughty.
And he kind of the most famous death in this thing, okay, and I think this is probably the best one, is when he comes across a couple having sex, like a young couple having sex in a house.
That is not how you use a billiards table, okay?
No, it's not.
That felt as if you rip that, so expensive to repair.
But the thing is he kills the young woman who's played by Linnea Quigley. This is one of her first roles.
Oh.
So Linnea Quigley is a
I'm sure one she loves
gigantic-
having on the old TV there.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
This was the movie that got her pretty much famous because she was impaled by deer antlers.
She thought she was horny before.
Oh God!
Good one. Liked it.
There is
liked
possibility
it.
we could eventually get her on the show, so you can go ahead and bring that up to her.
Yeah. Hey, come on the show.
Yeah. So he pretty much loses his shit and starts killing everyone, and Sister Margaret ends up being on the case trying to track him down. And
She's the only one that
she's the
knows
only
he's
one.
a fucking psycho.
well, here's my
And
thing.
she's still nice to him.
Yeah, here's my thing. If Sister Margaret knows this kid's a fucking psychopath,
Yeah.
why would you just be like, oh, yes, let's put you in a toy store on Christmas?
You know, maybe she was just trying to be real nice to him so he wouldn't murder her.
But maybe don't
read
give
the pl-
him.
she read the
maybe,
script.
Maybe try not getting him a job where the possibility of him losing his shit because he's around Christmas stuff.
She clearly didn't think this one through.
Maybe give him a job as an accountant. You know,
Maybe he was bad at math.
he could have been bad at math, but I'm just saying that accountants don't deal with Christmas things
Or children.
or children or toys. They don't have to dress up like Santa Claus.
It's true.
I think the worst thing would be basically saying, hey, you know what? We're going to have you work with the Salvation Army. Here, dress as Santa and ring a bell. Do you imagine that type of movie? You just kill people.
Well, Billy, there's an opening for a Santa Claus murderer. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah. Well, but I mean, he isn't horrible to everybody. He gives Denise's little sister, what was her name, Cindy? She gives her a knife.
Yeah.
Said she'd been nice that year.
She'd been nice that year, so here, have a knife.
That I just
That I just brutally
your sister
murdered
with.
your sister with. Yeah.
Totally fine.
This
And then he takes out some bullies. That was pretty sweet.
He does, yes.
I
He
do
goes
love
ahead
the
and takes out some buildings.
decapitation.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
kid is sledding and just home run shot, axe to the head. You know, he continues sledding down with no head.
Yep.
Yeah, this movie is amazing, by the way. I can't stress enough just how delightfully awful this movie is.
It's
It
a
really
good
is.
time.
It's hysterically bad. You know, it's one of those movies you'll watch and you will laugh your ass off. Watch it drunk. That's, is a better way to
That's the
watch it.
preferred way to watch it is when you've got some in you. Because then you won't care about the over-the-top acting or, any of those plot holes. Things along those
In
lines.
that way, if you start drinking while and you're plenty tuned by the time it's over, you'll be just drunk enough to watch Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Oh man.
But make sure you're not blackout drunk. That way you can still catch that Garbage Day reference.
Yes.
You know.
True. Too true. But yeah, and then there's like a showdown at the end with Mother Superior.
Yeah,
Of
he's
course
coming
she's
home.
got to pop back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coming
And
back
the
home to
cops are
finish.
hot on his trail at this point.
Yeah, and the cops, just without any hesitation, just shoot a guy dressed as Santa Claus.
Yeah.
You mean
Yeah.
the deaf pastor, Father O'Brien?
Yeah.
They just
Father O'Brien.
blast a cap in his ass.
Yeah, because they think he's the killer, and they shoot without hesitation. And it's not modern days because he's not black.
Oh, you fucking said
Oh,
that.
Jesus Christ.
Damn it.
Hey, it's not my fault the cops are racist.
Whoa, that's a blanket statement. Not all cops are
That's
racist.
true. Not all
Not all
cops.
of them.
But there's been a lot of horrific violence in our country this year against black people.
Just,
Okay. I just don't want anyone taking you out of context and burning our house to the ground, all right?
you really don't want your house burnt to the ground.
Jesus.
Especially not Jake. Body by Jake.
Anyway, so then there's the showdown with with Mother Superior, and she I just love she's like a dick to him to the bitter end.
Even when he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, he's like, do it, pussy.
Basically.
You ain't got the guts, you little freak.
But then he's shot down by the fuzz. So
They actually get the
we
right
actually
guy.
got the right guy.
yeah, and they get him, and as he's dying, he says, "You're safe now.
You're
Santa
safe
Claus
now.
is gone."
Santa Claus is gone.
So fucking
Bleh.
And then right as he dies, I told you.
Yeah, you're right.
His little brother Ricky's there for that, and he just has 1,000-yard stare at Mother Superior, and he just says,
Naughty.
"It's bone chilling." So
Which sets up the sequel
Pretty much.
for the most amazing acting performance
Yes.
ever.
Yes.
really bad. Is
Ricky
what
kind of
we meant.
eclipses Billy.
That's what we meant.
So, so the first movie we watched, is pretty good. That one is hilariously bad, but not horribly inept. Now we get to hilariously, horribly inept, god
oh my
awful.
God.
No. Okay. So John has a long and storied history with terrible films. He loves them. And I've been trying.
This
I really
is why
have.
you guys are friends.
I watched
is it.
I watched The Room. I got it.
Yep.
I got why he liked it so much. I even watched Birdemic, and I was like, okay, this isn't as fun as it was. But then we watched this fucking movie. And
Then you made me watch it.
yeah, we sure did. The movie is Elves.
Oh God.
And it is the worst movie I've ever seen.
Didn't you say that about what was the other movie we watched that you? Yeah, Thanksgiving. You said that about the Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is worse than Elf.
Yeah.
Elaine says that about every bad movie.
You
she
say
sees.
that about every bad movie. You got to pick one.
No, Thanksgiving is worse. I forgot. I blocked Thanksgiving out of my mind. Thanks for reminding me, assholes.
No problem.
Okay,
That's what friends are for.
It is the second worst movie I've ever seen.
Gobble gobble, motherfucker.
Elves. It doesn't even make any fucking sense.
It really
that's its
doesn't.
Big problem. So like.
Incest, Nazis, Grizzly Adams. Here's three things that are in the movie.
It's just like, I don't know, just like this girl Kristen is like randomly doing an anti-Christmas ritual in the woods. Just like, I don't know, like what a convention.
As you do.
Like,
why not?
Girls are getting together, they're on their periods, they're gonna go into the woods and do some pagan shit. Like, that's
And
not
attract
how
bears.
Well, here's
Attract
the
bears.
thing. Okay, since you're talking about girls on the period here, why does she have to cut her hand?
Oh.
Boom.
Okay.
That's a
fair
good point,
enough.
Brian. She could just, go spread eagle and sneeze.
Well, hey, you know what? Sneezing while on your period is no joke, motherfucker.
Is that
You wanna
seriously-
try
is
it?
that seriously
You
bad?
wanna- you know those like pictures of the nuclear like shelters of like houses imploding? That's
Yes.
how it feels. So that's no joke, motherfucker.
Okay.
So, well, no, but I mean, she cuts her hand by accident. Like, she's not trying to like.
They're
do
just
any
trying to do a
shit.
fake anti-Christmas pagan ritual with some fake hand
You know,
cutting,
as is tradition.
as is tradition.
Is this before or after her brother's trying to look at her tits?
Oh, dude! Her
Oh,
brother tries to,
shit.
like,
Yeah, that's
watch her.
right.
He's a little perv. It's so weird.
big tits.
Maybe
I can stare at them.
Maybe when she comes
I love that he's
back-
in Ninja Turtles pajamas
Yes.
too. It's like I'm sure they like that plug. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
super great.
Yeah.
But what she ends up doing at the very beginning, like that sets the tone for the movie, is that she's wakened like an old time ancient entity, and
Demonic Christmas elf.
Well, they call it an elf, but like it does not fucking.
He looks
look
like
an
petrified
elf.
guano.
Yes.
Ah,
Petrified
it's so
guano.
true.
It's this
With a
little
face,
plastic
petrified
troll. And the
guano
thing
with a
is,
face.
the movie's called Elves. There's only one.
Yeah.
It should have been called Elf.
It's true.
It should.
It would have been the first elf.
Or
And the thing
just.
is, the tagline is "They're not working for Santa
But there's only
anymore."
one.
Yeah. So he's not working, but he never was working for
Well,
Santa.
well-
He's working for the Nazis.
Yeah, well, clearly they went through a number of rewrites on the script and just didn't update. But they're saying, like, basically the idea of the movie is that instead of the Aryan race, Hitler actually wanted to have a race of half human, half elf hybrids.
Is that seriously it?
Which, well, they were part of like some.
Because I'm be honest with you, when I watched this with you guys, a couple of years ago,
We had a few drinks.
we had a few in
drinks.
us, and
It's fine. Well,
Festive Yule.
well,
It
the
was
whole
festive
thing-
Yule.
Festive Grogs.
Well,
you
the
know.
whole thing was like part of some weird like cult
Yeah, they
that
were-
was a
yeah,
part
they
of
were-
the Nazis. That
it
they
was
practiced
it
in
was
secret.
yeah. They wanted basically to make half human, half elves, and there was some incesting involved.
Yeah, well, too. I mean, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but the main character, Kristen, like her grandpa was a Nazi. He's a former Nazi, and then he's
As you
also
do.
her dad.
Yep.
And so she's the last pure-blooded Aryan
Pure
virgin in
blood.
the world, and that's how her blood like unlocks the elf.
Yes,
It's kind of like a Chinatown thing going
It's a
on.
just like to
Chinatown
remind
thing.
everybody briefly that this is a fucking Christmas movie,
yes, it is.
and so
Yeah,
it's just weird. Like she doesn't know everything that's going on right away, but she's like having a really hard time because her mom's a total bitch and like steals every penny that she earns.
and no one understands why her mom's a total bitch. But then you realize toward the end, it's like, oh well, you're kind of the spawn of my dad raping me.
Yeah, and
Everyone,
so-
if we have not convinced you to watch this movie yet, here's one for you. Mom drowns a cat in the toilet.
See, and this is funny because, like, obviously our friends, like, know what to expect from a party at our house, and they know they're going to watch a fucking terrible movie. This was the only part that upset anybody, was that they drowned a cat in the toilet. And I
Yeah.
would agree, it's the only part of the movie
Yeah.
that's, like, upsetting. None of the rest of it's scary, but, like, this part's, like, actually fucked up and makes me mad.
Yeah.
It's really fake. Like, you can tell nothing
Oh, yeah.
bad happened
Yeah.
to an actual
She puts him in a
cat.
pillowcase and like he can just go, wow. In the, like the
Oh
sax
my
a
god,
little
can
bit.
you please make drowning cat noises forever? You sound a little like Gizmo.
A little bit, a little like a drowning gizmo. So yeah, there's Nazis, and we haven't even gotten to the Dan Haggerty part.
Oh yeah, well,
Grizzly Adams.
Yeah,
Grizzly
he's
Adams.
like the ex-cop with a heart of gold and a score to settle.
Doesn't he
right?
like work as a mall cop?
I thought yeah.
Is it like a mall security
No,
guy?
yeah. He's kind of basically a mall cop. He's a former alcoholic. He's looking for a job, so he goes to the mall, and he's just kind of doing just loose jobs around the mall.
Because
kind
they
of
never
keeping
really
security.
say what he's doing. He's like
Yeah.
doing janitor shit or
He's just smelling. He looks like he smells.
he really does. Like, he looks like he hasn't washed that beard.
Yeah.
Like, the
Probably
beard
a
should be
decade.
Snow White, but it's brown.
Yeah.
Well, like, and then, so he's at the mall, and he has to, like, squat there because he's, like, trying to figure shit out with his life. But then Kristen and her friends, like, are going to the mall and then meeting guys later. Like, I'm sorry, is, like, going to the mall after it's closed and meeting dudes there, like, a big 80s activity?
I guess so.
I mean, I was
Have you not seen Chopping Mall?
Yes,
Yeah.
you made me watch Chopping
Yeah,
Mall,
that's true.
asshole.
Well, no, and here goes that premise that everyone's a scumbag in 80s horror movies. Santa said oral. That was one of the things. The Santa Claus, who's like macking on the chicks, the
He
high
was
school chicks.
so
Yeah,
creepy.
he was a
Um,
creepy
he was
fucker.
so-
And once again, so
gross.
we can justify his death, was like the elf rips out his ball sack.
Yeah.
And then he bleeds
That's
out
true.
from his balls
That's
being
very
ripped off.
true.
I swear, we're not making this up as we go.
No, this
here,
is
folks.
quite literally in the movie.
No, and then there's a group of Nazis too that like come to like support the elf's efforts, right?
Yeah, pretty much, because they want to initiate their final solution
Yeah.
of creating that elf human hybrid.
Well, and then this is like the whole end game is to get like the elf to like mate with Kristen
Yes,
to create this.
that she's the
perfect
last
race,
pure
that
blood.
She's the last pure blood.
Which, did we all want to see that? Because I wanted to see that.
I would have watched.
You wanted to see some elf porn?
If he is like proportional, he's got this little tiny elf dick. It would be like making your cat fuck a woman. It's just not gonna work. Like, no matter how much catnip you put in there, it's just not gonna work.
You make the angels cry. I hope you know.
Really do.
I mean, would they just need to like get a sample and just turkey baste it up? Like, I'm just
Sweetheart,
befuddled by the science.
I
behind this.
appreciate you, but I think you just have too many questions.
Okay.
Okay.
You're really trying to go
It's
ahead
true,
and
it's
ask
true.
questions to a movie that
He's like
doesn't
2 feet
have.
tall.
So then they there's like a huge like bloody scene in the mall. I mean, the elf comes and he like fucks some shit up. It's
He does.
Crazy. It's crazy. My favorite is when Amy is stabbed at the end with the Christmas tree star, which is so amazing. And then Brooke, because her boyfriend is killed, she sacrifices herself to the Nazis so Mike and Kristen can get away. That's the best part. It's so good. And then they're fired because of everything that happened that was in no way their fault.
Of course,
Yeah, they worked at the mall because everybody worked at the mall.
everybody
in the
works in
80s.
the mall in the 80s.
It's true.
You lived, you worked at the mall,
And you died at the mall.
Oh my god! Can you talk about the scene where they like just like bust into that professor's home on like fucking Christmas
Yes.
Eve?
Okay.
It's so good.
So they're trying to figure out, why is there a little tiny rubber piece of bat shit running around stabbing people?
cutting off Santa's balls. I mean, come on.
Yeah, why has that melted piece of Tupperware so angry? So they're trying to get to the bottom of this. Dan Haggerty is he likes to go to the library. He does a little bit of
He
research.
does. He does some reading.
And and he's like, I need to go to an expert and find out a little more information about these blood cults and all this
Nazi
just-
blood cults
yeah.
and crazy demon elves.
demon shit. Yeah,
'Cause
so I'm gonna-
there's a professor for everything.
yeah. So I'm going to go to the professor's house on Christmas Eve, and I'm going to break into his home and have him explain this to us in front of his children. They're talking about satanic sex cults and stuff, and the little kids are just like, like listening as he explains like how the
I
origins
would tell
of this
you boys
elf
about the
came to
satanic
be.
Nazi sex cults, huh?
And so the kids are just kind of he's cutting the ham or turkey, I can't remember which one, and just telling the story like it's nothing in front of his children.
and his kids are just watching with like blank stares on their faces. It's so priceless.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess they like kind of get a little bit better understanding of the stakes, but they still don't understand everything that's going on.
Right.
And
And then the grandfather reveals the whole.
Yeah. After the elf kills her mom, which was fucking awesome because her mom was such a bitch.
Yeah, you pretty
Kills
much
her in the tub.
It electrocutes
Yeah,
her in the tub.
I know that I was
Awesome.
pretty much happy when that happened.
It's awesome.
like,
and then her little shit
Well,
brother
and the
gets
thing
killed
is,
too.
it's shaking the head. Like he's kind of like almost like when he's electrocuted. He's like, "Rock on, yeah!"
Yeah, it's true. So,
He's real into his own kill.
so then The Nazis are in hot pursuit of them as well, and after their little brother's killed with a candy cane, which is awesome. The Nazis mortally wound her grandfather, and he kind of has them run for it. He's like he kind of redeems himself a little bit because he was like supposedly a reformed Nazi.
Is there really such a thing?
But he sets off the grenade. Remember,
they
and
created NASA. They got us to the moon.
Okay, they weren't really Nazis.
But no,
Yeah, they were.
guys. But Grandpa sets off the grenade, remember? He kills himself
Yes,
and the
he
Nazis
does.
both. That's what I meant. Like, he
Yeah.
redeems himself a little. I'm not saying he, like, made it totally square, but he was like, he did the right thing in the end.
He rounded the edges.
Just now, we're going very steadily with the plot, but we're missing the point where they try to kill Dan Haggerty, and he's in his car, and there's a bomb. And instead of throwing the bomb out of the car, he jumps out of the car himself, getting injured and letting his car blow up.
It's true.
But throw the bomb out the window, dude.
Let's see what you do when a bomb is thrown in your car. Let's see how rational you are. Let's see if you do good.
I would be like, oh, fuck, and I throw it out the window.
It's true.
Get that shit out of here.
Would you yell, "Oh fuck"? Just like
fuck.
that?
Ah, tits.
But despite all of this, the elf is like still living through everything, and he's still coming for Kristen
Yep.
because he wants that sweet, sweet virgin meat.
He really does.
And
He wants that Christmas
and
ham.
so he's been chasing. Hate you. So he's been chasing her this whole time, but then finally at the end, she's able to like use this elf stone,
which they
from
just
her-
introduced that
Yeah,
shit. They
from her
really do.
grandpa's
They're just
study.
like, oh yeah, remember that elf stone that I've picked up 5 minutes ago that somehow was explained.
And then
maybe,
this is
somewhere?
terrible because the editing does not give us any indication of how much time has passed, and it's very strange.
Yeah.
Because the climax comes, but then like the light changes a little bit, but it doesn't, and we don't really get a great sense of time here. But
Is that really the biggest problem you have with them?
I'm just trying to give like a picture for our listeners so that they can understand this festering dog turd. So then it's like also like the whole forest has been destroyed somehow, but we don't know why.
Of course.
And it's snowing, and then she is found by her crush the whole time, Stan. And then they have their
Stan
moment.
in the place
And
where
then can you explain to us how the film ends, John?
I will try here, but it makes absolutely no sense. If I'm remembering correctly, how did they end up actually killing him? Killing the elf?
With the elf stone.
The elf stone.
And then, everything is okay, and everything works out. But then right at the very end, they just show, like, in her belly is the elf baby.
It's a fetus.
But how? Why?
Yeah, it's like, how did the
Because,
elf
like-
get to bang Kristen?
They didn't do it. We were there. They
Yeah.
didn't do it. And she
There
killed
was no
him.
time.
Nope. No time.
No time at
No
all.
time to even hit it and quit it, my friend.
Maybe
No.
that's the second elf, and that's why it's called Elves.
Oh, okay.
Kevin Finch actually came up with that solution. So,
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Shout out to Kevin Finch.
There you go.
our listener.
Yeah, that's yeah. I never understood that part. I was just like,
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be like a twist or like a
Oh,
but
what
like
the
when you-
twist?
But when you have a fucking terrible movie, it
Hey,
doesn't
the
mean
kid,
anything.
fuck the kids. They won't ask any questions. We already got the money.
I mean, seriously.
yeah, they don't give a shit. It's amazing.
It's a horror.
It's
show.
utterly amazing.
What's funny is it holds a 32% review on Rotten Tomatoes.
Is that currently higher than Bad Santa 2?
Yes.
Our last week film? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Also higher than the remake of Black Christmas,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was 14%.
But the thing is with that movie, you have, just like with the original Ninja Turtles film, what they had to get right, and they nailed in the original Ninja Turtles movie, was the rubber suits of the turtles. The puppetry of the turtles. And in that movie, the 1990 movie I'm talking about, they fucking nailed it. And they had
They
to.
did.
In this movie, you have one job. The elf has...
You have one
You
job.
have one job.
The
and you
elf
fuck it up.
has to look amazing. You have one elf, and it has to look amazing. And it couldn't be any more horrible if you tried.
It's true.
It looked like 40 men jizzed in a gray gym sock, and then they left it in the freezer for a couple of days. Then pulled it out and covered it in some bacon grease and gave it some eyeballs and said, "There we go. Perfect. We don't have to do a thing."
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That's something you just said.
That was a picture you painted. That was
Wow.
that was a tableau you created.
That
out of
really
nothing.
was.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. So that was our festive trio for you guys.
Oh, God.
Hope you all enjoyed. We
Next week, we'll get back on track with a little more actual, like, festive holiday movies.
Yeah,
but-
I mean,
Yeah, a little bit.
Can't
little bit.
rush us. We do like our stuff.
We do.
You know,
We
so
So check out Christmas. Check out everything we talked about. Check out Christmas Evil. If you want my opinion on any other holiday-themed Christmas slasher films or horror films in general, I will happily give you my
if
2 cents on them.
you just want his opinion, it's his
you
favorite
go.
thing ever. So.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
So be sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google Plus at Psycho Show. Where can I find you guys at on the Twitter?
The Unreal J Wolves. Feel free to say anything to me.
And
There you
can-
go.
And you can find me at LA_Croft. And if you want to say something terrible, send it to him.
Yeah, please do. Don't
No,
send it to
I
me.
want the good. I want the good too.
They'll say anything good.
Well, like John, you got a big wiener. I can tell from your voice.
Nobody cares what you
Nobody
want.
cares. Also, Elaine, you have another podcast too, right?
Yeah. Check me out, Super Serials. We're dropping our Patreon episodes.
Oh, cool.
We're going to be recording those this weekend, so that's going to be up in the catalog a bit. And we just finished a review of the Everworld series.
Okay.
So we do books on that podcast for Super Serials.
Awesome.
So check us out.
You can find me at Brian Kyneton. I also run the Psycho Show Twitter. If you have a favorite movie that you would love for us to go ahead and review, or a question you want to throw our way, you can contact us at cinemapsychoshow.com. And make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes to catch our new episodes available every Friday.
Stop rewriting Christmas history, Kirk Cameron, you piece of crap.